People are questioning whether Meghan Markle gave birth to two white redhead children. It just seems a little bit strange knowing her racial background and her ethnicity. So my conclusion is that she is using actors. I have said this from a very long time ago. I know that I have not been very sure or clear whether I believe that she has children at all. But one thing I have said is that she is using other people's children. Some people thought it was Kelly Zyphon's children, all kinds of different children. Even I think somebody thought it was Eugenie or Beatrice's children. It's just always other people's children, it seems like, to say that these are her children. And I've always felt kind of sorry for Meghan because I said every time she wants to merge her kids, she has to do a casting call.
Address: a red-haired little girl, and a web page that vanished overnight. No warning, no explanation, just gone. Error 404. Page not found. Now, things disappear from the internet all the time. Brands update their catalogs. Old stock gets pulled. It happens. Except, this particular page went dark at the exact moment thousands of people started asking whether the child modeling that dress was actually Lilibet Sussex. And that timing? That is worth talking about. Welcome back to the Sussex Files. Every move has a motive. We find it. So let me walk you through what happened, because if you missed this story, it moves fast. Meghan posts birthday photos of Lilibet, as she does, with the child's face either obscured, angled away, or hidden behind sunglasses and a hat. Standard operating procedure for the Sussexes. Nothing new there. But someone in the royal commentary space noticed that a child on the Little Olives clothing website, a small children's brand, bore a striking resemblance to the girl in Meghan's photos. Same coloring, they said. Similar build. And here's the detail that caught everyone's attention. The child on the clothing website also had her face obscured. Sunglasses. Hat. Could not confirm identity either way. The story spread. Commentators picked it up. Paula Froelich wrote a piece on Substack. Shauna Kay amplified it on Twitter. And then, quietly, the Little Olives page with those images came down. The dress listing, error 404. The summer collection page, gone. And the internet, naturally, lost its mind. Now I want to be the voice in the room that pumps the brakes slightly. Because here is what we actually know versus what people are running with. What we know, two images of red-haired children with obscured faces look similar. What we do not know, whether they are the same child, whether the website removal was connected to the speculation at all, or whether this was routine catalog management that happened to coincide with a viral moment. These are not the same thing. Correlation is not confirmation. And in this niche, in this space, we have seen stories sprint from interesting coincidence to established fact in about 6 hours flat. So let's not do that. But, and this is a significant but, the removal does raise a question that nobody seems to be asking clearly enough. If the images were just standard stock photography with no connection whatsoever to the Sussex family, why would a small children's clothing brand feel any pressure to remove them? A brand that size does not have a PR team monitoring royal commentary YouTube at 11 o'clock at night. So either someone flagged it to them directly, which would be interesting, or the timing genuinely is coincidence. Both explanations are possible. Neither has been confirmed. File that away. Now, before we go any further into Meghan specifically, I want to zoom out. Because this conversation about celebrity children, obscured faces, and public confusion is not new. Not even close. Let us talk about Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson spent years covering his children's faces in public. Blankets, masks, veils. His son Prince Michael too, the one the press nicknamed Blanket, was literally named after the tactic. And the public reaction at the time was exactly what you would expect. Speculation, confusion, conspiracy theories. People questioning whether those were his biological children. People questioning whether the face hiding was protecting them or hiding something. Here's the thing though. Jackson had a genuine and well-documented terror of what fame had done to him personally. And he was absolutely determined that his children would not grow up as public property the way he had. Was it extreme? Yes. Did it backfire by generating more curiosity than transparency ever would have? Also yes. But the motive, protecting the children from the machine, was coherent, even if the execution was chaotic. Beyoncé spent the first year of Blue Ivy's life in near-total lockdown. One controlled photo release. No candidates. No pap walks. The Knowles Carter approach was surgical, You see what we choose to show you and nothing else. That strategy, interestingly, generated almost no conspiracy theories. Because Beyoncé showed enough, consistently enough, that the public felt they knew Blue Ivy was real, was healthy, was loved. She managed the information diet without creating a vacuum. Kylie Jenner kept Stormi's face off social media for months after her birth, which, given that Kylie had literally documented her entire adult life online, felt jarring. People noticed. But again, occasional, controlled reveals meant the speculation never reached fever pitch. Then there is Adele, who has been extraordinarily protective of her son Angelo for years. Rarely photographed, almost never named in interviews beyond a first name. And yet, no conspiracy, no casting call theories. Why? Because Adele does not simultaneously use her child to sell products while hiding his face. She just keeps him private. Full stop. And that is the distinction that matters here. There is a strategic trap that Meghan has built for herself. And this is where the analysis gets genuinely interesting. When you choose privacy, you choose it completely. You do not post photographs of your children on your personal Instagram account. Use those images to generate engagement for your brand, and then also hide their faces to protect their privacy. Because those two things are in direct conflict. Privacy means the children are not content. Posting them, even partially, means they are. What Meghan has created is a middle ground that satisfies neither objective. The privacy is not real privacy, because the children are still being presented to an audience of millions as part of her personal brand. And the transparency is not real transparency, because the audience never gets enough visual information to feel confident in what they are seeing. The result, and this is not speculation, this is observable, is a permanent vacuum of uncertainty that the internet fills with whatever it wants. And the internet, in this particular niche, tends to fill vacuums with the most dramatic possible explanation. Now, could that vacuum be intentional? Could maintaining ambiguity about what her children look like be a deliberate strategy to protect them from being recognized in public? Genuinely, yes. That is a coherent reading. A child whose face nobody can confirm is a child who can walk through a Montecito farmer's market without being swarmed. That is a real benefit. But if that is the strategy, posting the children at all is the own goal. Because every post creates a new comparison point, a new round of scrutiny, a new opportunity for someone to find a clothing website model and spend 48 hours deciding whether the legs match. You cannot market your children and protect your children at the same time. That contradiction is entirely of Meghan's own making. And until she resolves it, one way or the other, this story will repeat itself. Different dress, different website, same 404. So let us come back to that disappearing page. We do not know who pulled it. We do not know why. And I am not going to tell you it proves anything, because it does not on its own. What it does is extend the ambiguity. It keeps the question open. And open questions, in this space, have a shelf life of approximately forever. Here is what I will say. The most damaging thing about this entire episode is not whether a child model is or is not Lilibet Sussex. The most damaging thing is that the question is believable at all. That enough people, seeing enough inconsistency over enough years, looked at a child on a clothing website and thought, well, it could be. That is not a conspiracy theory problem. That is a credibility problem. And credibility, once it starts leaking, is very hard to patch. Michael Jackson never fully recovered the public's uncomplicated trust after the blanket era. Not because the theories were true, but because the behavior had created enough ambiguity that doubt had somewhere to live. Meghan is not Michael Jackson. The situations are not equivalent. But the mechanism, obscure enough to generate confusion, reveal enough to generate interest, and then wonder why people are confused, that mechanism is identical. Every move has a motive. The motive here seems to be controlling the narrative around her children while still leveraging them commercially. The problem is that those two motives are pulling in opposite directions. And the 404 page, whatever caused it, is just the latest symptom of a contradiction that has been sitting at the heart of Sussex media strategy for years. I am the Sussex Files. If this is your first time here, please subscribe. This channel exists because these stories deserve more than hot takes. They deserve the full file. And we are just getting started. Leave me your thoughts below. Did the image removal change how you read this story? I want to know.